heard that.
Is that true? Person.
Ways, right? Again.
Name, we're on TV.
Yeah.
You live long enough, I'll have it one more time.
Lights are green.
Good evening and welcome. Can you hear this? Just working test. Doesn't sound like it, does it? I gotta speak louder. Good evening. I gotta bring it closer. Welcome to the first in-person planning board meeting in 15 months. It's really nice to start getting back to some normalcy here. Would you please rise and join us in the pledge, Mr. Snyder?
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You just stay standing for a moment of silence and observation of Memorial, this past Memorial Day. Thank you. One of the good things about this pandemic is that we've gotten kind of good at technology. Well, Mike has gotten kind of good at technology. And we are going to continue streaming live so that our meetings can be viewed from home live, or you can actually watch the recording anytime. So that's a good part of all of this. At this point, let's go with the approval of the minutes from the May 19th meeting. Any questions or comments?
Move that be approved as printed.
Second,
Second.
Mr. Bloss, Mr. Rosito. Mr. Abbey.
Yes.
Mr. Snyder.
Yes.
Mr. Bloss.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Minutes have been approved. The board will now take public comment on any active application that's currently before the board. If you want to speak to something that's got a scheduled public hearing, please keep those comments until the public hearing. Is there anybody here that would like to address the board on any topic that is currently in front of us? Nobody wishing to speak. We'll go on to the first agenda item. This is a public hearing for Thomas Farley. It's on property of Bull Street, 2-lot subdivision. Mr. Roman, Tim. Mr. Tim. Tim Clear.
Subdivision on the south side of the street. 2 large lots.
Thank you.
One of them, one being roughly.
Can you hear me? I don't know if I test that better. As I was saying, this is a 2-lot subdivision. It's R15 residential. The property is located on Bull Street. We're looking to carve 2 lots out of this 75-acre parcel on the south side. There are some wetlands we do show on the map. They're just looking to put 2 single-family residential houses on here. Obviously, at this time, we haven't done any type of septic design or anything like that, but before they do any type of house or pull any permit, they're going to have to get that approved by the health department. Right now, the health department's fine with this because it's over 5 acres, and we're just hoping forward so that they can start building.
Comments before we open the public hearing? Nope. Tim, you said they're looking to create another building lot. That's the main objective, put up another house.
Right now, they're going to put 2 single-family houses on here, so 1 on each lot. So the backstory is these gentlemen actually just recently built houses over in Clay, where they're doing that big industrial development. And actually, the county bought their houses out and basically are taking their property there, and they're relocating to this location and hopefully building here. In the future, someday, they're hoping to possibly have their kids carve out some lots here and make it their own little family compound. But right now, it's just the two gentlemen looking for houses here.
With that, we'll open the comment for anybody that wants to speak. Yes, please come up. Please come up to the microphone. That's fine. You don't have to be. Can you just give your name?
Barbara Herb.
Thank you.
So it's hard for us to see back there where the lots are. They're coming in on Bull Street, I'm assuming next to one of our neighbors. There's Jack Lyon's property. So the other one, I'm assuming that's a residential house right there on Bull Street. That's our neighbors, Michelle, Kevin. So where are the lots coming in?
For what the driveways be?
Yeah, so where is the road gonna go in between that plot? Looking at her house.
I don't think there's any intent to have a road at this point. It would just be driveway. Lot, is that correct, Tim?
Two driveways going down.
Hold on. 1 second, please. We're gonna have one speaker at a time.
So when the houses are going up, like where about on that is the house is going to be? Because you did also speak about
Yeah, that's not,
other property being developed there.
right. That's not being looked at yet. Right now, it's just a subdivision. If and when they decide to build the houses, they would have to submit a survey to the zoning office.
So the subdivision as it stands is only to divide it in two parts.
That's correct.
So if they decide to go farther, then they would have to do another subdivision request.
Nope, they would have to make application in the zoning office.
And then how would they proceed on that? What would be the procedure for that?
Go ahead, Steve. You want to?
So currently, this proposal is to split that parcel into two, to build one single-family residence at each parcel. Any future subdivision or more development, more houses would have to come back for
Another
re-subdivision.
hearing.
That's right. So currently, if this is approved, they just need to come.
So with that being said, we were not receiving notice of this only because it was only affecting the one person next to him, correct? That why our whole street was not notified.
Typically, contiguous properties are notified.
So if it went on farther for another subdivision or a divide, however you want to call it, for the planning of more development, the entire street would then be notified? So it just affects the one neighbor.
Thank you. Would somebody else like to speak?
Hi, my name is Kevin LaPierre. I've resided at 7726. Been there for 25 years. We have some thoughts how my land is going to be underwater when they put a road in. If anybody has gone by, most of the houses on that street are elevated to the road or higher, where I sit probably 2 foot lower. So putting something like this behind my house gonna wreck my yard. Now, be it wherever they put the road, I hope they plan on putting a moat or a berm around my yard, because that's what I'm gonna need. And if you want to put 2 lots, 2 houses, I could see possibly where they could do it. But if anybody's gone behind my house, you'll know, you dig down 4 feet, you're in water. I don't know how they're gonna plan on putting houses back there with the proper drainage without flooding me out. Something to think about.
Wait, sir, is the land behind your house that we're talking about, is it is higher or lower than, because I didn't get to look at the
We're
facility.
even.
You're even.
That's straight.
Pretty typical in town.
Yep.
Well, the code office has to make sure that we aren't taking water from that lot and putting it on yours. They'll be looking at that when they bring in their design for the houses.
There are times I can't mow my lawn on a wet season until early June. So if you're gonna disrupt in the back, I don't care what kind of drainage you're gonna put in. We all know it's all swamp. I really don't know how that's gonna help matters. If, like I said, if anybody comes out to my house, you'll see that I am at least 2 foot below the level of the road. Everybody else is up higher or even. So it will affect my residents. Thank you.
Steve, a question for you. So when somebody applies for a permit and they want to put a driveway in, you look at how that driveway is going to affect flow, like if there's a ditch at the road and that kind of thing.
Right, I mean, the highway superintendent, the highway department will be, because this is a town road, right? Be notified, you know, Piper, they would do that.
They would, the highway department would.
That's right.
I should have mentioned initially. So this isn't a give and take. I mean, you're welcome to come up and speak, and I will allow that. But this isn't a give and take, a question and answer session. This is just an opportunity for the public to voice any concerns or comments they have on the site plan. So we're not going to get into a dialogue of question and answer, but you're certainly welcome to come up and speak if you'd like to. And if your speaking happens to answer questions, I have no problem with that.
We bought this property and the dark center line in the middle is the line for the lot. So we'll have one lot on the left, one lot on the right. We're assuming right now, it's too early to really tell. We don't have our house designs yet, but we're assuming that our driveway is going to be close to the center line. But it's going to be one single driveway in, back past that first wetland, and then we'll split with our driveway. So we're going to be back past those wetlands, the first wetland. We find that we can't build anymore after that. I don't even know if that's so far in the future. Only 2 houses for now and back beyond. So guessing the scale of it, probably at least 600 feet back from the road. Driveway split. So single shot up to that point. There won't be multiple driveways.
I guess I'll just hop in real quick. I think Steve's got the same comment. So if they're going to have a shared driveway, then there would need to be for that. I don't know, Steve, if that's something you would address at the time of building permit, or whether you'd prefer to see it addressed here at the time of subdivision.
I think, see it. So, satisfaction. So,
You would like the easement in place?
Yeah.
Good point.
So they should show a shared access, ingress, egress. Decide to term it back to a point that, adequate width, back to a point to where they think those driveways are going to split. I mean, Tim would work with the applicant to come up with that plan.
Let me just, addressing the driveway situation. The only reason I did not put the driveway easement on here, I knew we would have to do a driveway easement, is because the house placement hadn't been finalized and Mr. Farley hasn't even gotten into the design of the houses just yet. And I knew it was going to be a private easement for this property and or this property, and how we brought that driveway up into near the houses wasn't exactly finalized yet, but if the town wants me to show an easement on there, we can come up with something.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to address the board on this topic? Yes, please come up.
My house, but how fast are they talking this development to start? Like, what's the time frame?
Yes, I've got to revert back to our rules. It's not a question and answer. They haven't given us that. It's not part of the subdivision process, so I don't know the answer to that.
When do they want to start building?
What they're doing is they're just asking. The property owners here, he heard that, and then my guess is that he's probably willing to let you know when they're going to start the process. That's if it's approved. Right. And he gets his permits. Understood. Anybody else? If there's no other public comments, we'll close the public hearing. Questions or comments from the board? So at this point, we should defer until the revised plans. Jim, you have any questions on what we're looking for as far as the easement? All right, that'll conclude this item, agenda item. Next item on the agenda is for St. Francis, and this is probably at 7820 Route 298. This is a two-lot subdivision. Going to be setting a public hearing tonight. Good evening.
I last appeared here several months ago. The board requested that we obtain an area variance because we were subdividing lot 1 and 2. Lot 2 required 2 acres. 6. At a meeting on May 3rd, the zoning board of appeals approved the area variance conditionally on the condition that lot 2, the church lot, required water line and sewer line prior to any sale of either of the properties. That's fine. So I'm back here in front of you to let you know the area variance.
Correct. Gentlemen, any questions?
Not this time.
Sounds good. Mike, Steve?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to point out, and I resent out the comments just shortly before the meeting tonight, that we had sent out comments on this, went beyond the variance. There was a number of other issues related to sewer, water, et cetera. So we can schedule the public hearing tonight, but I resent out those comments. They still do need to be addressed, and I'd like to get that back at least a week prior to the public hearing if we expect the project to be approved at the public hearing, or at least for the board to be able to consider it. So I've got time to review it and report back to the planning board with the letter report on the project.
That's your January 11th was the original date of that?
Yeah, it was some time ago. So I did resend it out to everybody. I think it bounced back to me from diocese. So I'm not sure whose email I sent that to there, but are you the person who would get the information?
Yes.
And your email address?
Mark, I can give him mine.
Yeah.
Why don't you come on up? Just show that to Mark, make sure that. that's
I
the
think,
most-
I think it came to I think it bounced back to me. That's all I'm saying is. Well, okay, yep. Yeah, you want to just give those to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as far as a date for the, Mark, anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
As far as a date for public hearing, what Mark is saying is he would like comments back on that a week prior to the actual public hearing. So timeframe?
Week from today.
Again, you can schedule it. If it doesn't come back in time, we can hold the hearing and
Keep
just
it
do
open.
what we just did with the other subdivision is to defer to the next meeting for an approval if needed.
Well, to be surveyor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just take a quick look at it and double check it. You know, I think that's. That looks correct. So yes, yes, you've got, yeah, basically it would be a week turnaround to get it back for review.
And if we're not ready, we'll just open the meeting and keep it open until the following. But we'll want that a week prior. Neil, could you put a motion together for a public hearing?
Caption resolution calling for a public hearing in the matter. 7820 Route. Regularly scheduled meeting.
I'd like to make that motion.
Motion.
Who's the first?
Later.
Mr. Rosito,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
Yes.
Mr. Snyder,
Yes.
Mr. Bloss,
Yes.
and I vote yes, motion carries. Mr. Rosito.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
See you in 2 weeks. Last item on the agenda is for Natalie McGowan. This is a property at 8048 Thompson Road. That's proposed home occupation. Natalie, I presume? Welcome. Yes,
Sure we
please.
do.
Absolutely. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well
Everyone.
also. If you can kind of give a description of what it is you're looking for, the, you know, the information that you submitted.
I am interested in moving established business that's downtown in Armory Square to partially on my back patio and in my basement, just to the stress of COVID scared me as far as like being a renter. So I bought this home in 2019 and work from home since I do have.
Welcome to the town sister.
Thank you.
This is for a salon.
Yes.
How many employees?
My current salon that I work at, it is a suite setup, so we each have our own room. So I'm very used to working alone, but also with a group at the same time. So I would only be moving my established clientele to this space because I don't want strangers over. I've been working on the same people for that.
So the practice, the way it's been operating, how many customers would you have at your store at one time at this point?
One. Yeah,
There's
one-on-one.
no overlay, like somebody sitting waiting?
I don't have the patience for that. But yeah, it's just one person comes in, we chit chat, do their hair, they leave. I try to give myself about 20 minutes in between each. And then currently also employed at a dental office, 25 hours a week. So I would only be doing this for 25 hours a week as well. So it wouldn't be a full time.
No, any questions? Chuck?
Same. You only do women?
Oh,
I was gonna ask that.
no. Men's cuts as well.
My barber shut down with COVID because he's a little older than I am.
Uh-huh.
And every time I call the number, he says, you know, I'm closed for a little while, you know. And so I know I don't have a lot of hair,
You
but
you
it's
just-
just,
still want to feel good. I understand.
don't want a discount.
Well, you should get one.
I mean,
Yes, but she might be like your dentist, your barber. His barber has 2 licenses,
uh-huh.
a hunting license and a cutting license, because she's got to find the hair first, so.
Yeah.
But, so, okay, so there is a possibility that.
There
Don't be
is.
laughing, Mr.
There is.
Jermaine.
I do cut one of my boss's hair right now as well over at Summit Dental. So excited. He was like, God, I hope you get this because it'll be so much closer. I'm like,
And you said you don't need or don't want any advertising.
No, no, I don't want anyone to know what's going on, just.
So it's
people-
all word of mouth as far as
Yes,
your
yes.
customers.
And even then, it's, would my current client vouch for that person? Because people are very needy and very particular. That, but I don't want complete strangers coming over because I live there.
But
So-
who would vouch for me?
Oh, I mean, we already met, so you're not a stranger.
I'm strange, but I'm not a stranger.
Yes.
Thank you.
No questions.
Any signage?
No.
Mike? Steve,
Thank you.
you want anything?
On occasion, I have a father-son combo. Like the dad.
You need seeker?
Well, so this this has to go to the county.
Oh.
And she needed the application in for that deadline, so.
Okay. So before we can take action, we need the county's recommendations back.
Okay.
We get to see her again.
I'll be here. As long as you're ready.
So I would presume by the next meeting, we'll be good to go.
Wow.
Shortly after the county gives us their recommendation, we'll get you back on the agenda. Notify you. Right? You're welcome. Thank you. That includes our agenda items. Anybody have any questions? Been 15 months.
Do we know anything about the RV dealer that buyers, I mean, they had approved a big building addition and stuff. Have any of us heard anything about why they haven't come in and knocked on your door, Steve?
Recollection serves me, I think they extension goes back several years, and now their site plan is.
I don't know, do we reach out to them or do we just say,
Wouldn't be able to move forward with that plan to construct those facilities without.
Questions?
this young lady out there with her hand up?
Judy?
Yeah. I think site improvements, I believe, involved. They're soon going to strike the parking lot. Just came in last week for their building for that. Back has been. Had an office there. It's a construction office. That was on the site. Yep.
In
Oh,
front?
A lot of activity going on in Northern Boulevard. I've got a
Oh,
few calls.
yeah.
Yep. Seeing some of those frames, you know.
Solar. The Caterpillar people are well
started
underway.
doing their site work.
They were putting the sill fence down on the storage unit.
What are they?
Yep. And they had, last week they were doing that.
They haven't put any permits yet, so.
Busy area.
Sure.
Mike, Steve, anything?
Well, you know, I do have one thing.
Yes.
Had inquired from a sign company recently, changing a sign on a local business from pole mounted sign to a monument sign. Sign ordinance, the way it's written, says the planning board has the ability to approve signs lower than 6 feet from the site plan process. And I wonder if we could treat it similar as we do with message boards, have them come in for the sign permit approval without necessarily, not really doing a site plan. Looking at some-
I'm fine with that, but is it my determination?
What it says in the sign ordinance during this site plan approval process.
Want to look at it, Neil, and let Steve know?
Didn't we do that
But
for
whether
the,
or not that's necessary going forward, if we want to change the way the language.
Right.
didn't we do that for the restaurant in the Bridgeport sign? You know, they were moving from the Meadows to the,
That was an electronic message board.
Yeah.
With the sign, the sign order simply says that planning board has to approve them.
right.
It also refers to the term.
Steve, Neil, you want to review it and let them know? Right. Yeah, so if we need to tweak that, we the town board. You may. Can I have your name, please? I know Bill. Call the supervisor.
Oh.
You can, for complaints like that, you can call the zoning office. Yeah, if you have a concern, if you have a concern about something like that, you can call the zoning office. Yeah, call the zoning office. We're just administrative. A good question.
You can let me know. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's in the right.
Yeah.
It's a good concern. Gentlemen,
Thank you.
we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion
Move.
to adjourn.
Second. By Mr. Evie, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
We all did it, Cindy.
Hey.